I've got my moo, I've got my wine. It's movie recap time.
And I'm catching feelings, baby.
What's up, beautiful people? It's Hershey Sunday, and I'm back with the scoop. How are you? Well, I hope that you are doing fabulous because I have a scoop and also a movie review. We will be talking about Tyler Perry's new movie, Ruth and Boaz, that just hit Netflix. Let's discuss the good, the bad, and possibly the ugly. So right off the bat, this is a Tyler Perry and Devon Franklin movie. So they both helped co-produce it, dropped on Netflix, and there's some buzz about it. We're going to get into it, okay? So it starts off with Ruth, who is played by Soraya, who is in a group called 4-4. She's with her homegirl, Bree. They're performers. She's like a singer. Bree is like a rapper. And they're performing in Atlanta's like music scene. They have this producer who's given very much like, you know, Paul Wall, Paul Siding, Paul Baseboard, Paul Walmart. It's giving Paul Wall-ish, okay? Paul Wall light, if you will. He's the manager, okay? So they're performing, and her boyfriend Marlon brings in Felicia Rashad. So all of this is narrated by Felicia Rashad, aka she plays Naomi, her boyfriend's mama. So, honey, Naomi ain't too pleased nor too concerned with Ruth because she's like, oh, she's just another bop. She over here, you know, shaking what her mama gave her, which is quite a feat because her mama ain't give her much because she abandoned her at 5, left her at the church steps, and never came back, honey. And she never knew her father. So there's that, you know. So anyway, they're performing. Soraya's kind of in this battle of like, I'm supposed to be singing for the Lord or something more positive. We up here, you know, shaking our Laffy Taffy or whatever they rapping and singing about. And she's just kind of over it. And so her boyfriend brings, you know, Felicia Rashad's character, Naomi, and his father, Eli, to the performance. Eli is played by Greg Allen Williams. And I don't know why he always gives me evil pastor. He always gives evil pastor vibes. Like he was in Greenleaf. He just always gives me evil pastor, and I don't know how to describe that. So they meet her. Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable ain't impressed, and then they leave. So turns out Soraya wants to leave the group. She's like, I can't do this. Stay in the studio. Paul Siding, Paul Walmart is pissed like, look, I done paid your rent for a few months. I'm such and such amount of dollars in the hole, baby. You owe me, okay? And rent is due, if you catch my drift. And they're on the hook for an 8-figure deal. You know, Jermaine Dupri's in it. He's trying to sign them. It's a whole hodgepodge. So then get into this. She gets a call from Marlon's mama, you know, Felicia Rashad, aka Naomi, saying that there's been like this terrible accident and, you know, come to the hospital quick. Lo and behold, her husband and her son were in the car. They got carjacked, and they both were at the carjacking. So they up here grieving and mourning and all that stuff. And it moves over to the funeral, honey. So they at the funeral, and Naomi is taken into like this room with her lawyer, her estate person. And the lawyer is like, baby, your husband, you know, put everything on the line. Something didn't work, some deal didn't work out. So the house is in foreclosure. All the properties, with the exception of one that you got in Tennessee, Parego, Tennessee, Nutbush, Tennessee. No, that was Tina Turner. In Tennessee, okay? Close to Nashville. And everything else, baby, is going off to auction. So Ruth is overhearing this because she eavesdropping at the door. And I would have been too because I kind of need to know what's going on. Mind you, her manager, okay, Paul Walmart, then came and basically told her like, yeah, I set up that whole thing with your man and his daddy, and I'm letting you know I mean business because it could be you next. Okay, it very well could have been you. Because remember, she said she's leaving the group. She was like, I'm not being true to myself. We used to write poetry. We used to be floetry. You know, we used to burn incense or whatever. And I feel like we up here tootsie rolling and shaking our big old titties and or tick old bitties, if you will. And you know, she wanna do something real Christian like. So anyway, Naomi's devastated. She is going to Tennessee, to her property, to her home that she still owns. Ruth goes to her home looking for her. One of the guys is like, "Oh, she's not here. She on a Greyhound, pretty much." So Ruth goes after Naomi. She sits on the Greyhound bus next to her, and Naomi's like, "What are you doing here? Like, you, how he ain't even married, wasn't even married to my son. Like, I'm good. I don't need you to come to Tennessee with me." And Ruth is like, "Where you go, I go." Kind of like in the Bible, they sprinkled that in. So, honey, they get to this house, and the house is falling off the bone. Okay, the house need more than a coat of paint. Okay, and a little reinforcement. That house look like if a good wind blow, it'll blow it over. So Naomi is grieving. She taking the crosses off the walls, all of this stuff, just crying. Going through it, right? Ruth is hustling. Ruth is like, I gotta go look for work. So she's going door to door, and she ends up at the vineyard. Remember, this is biblical, right? Because Ruth in the Bible was in the vineyard gleaning grapes. So she goes to this vineyard and dressed in this suit jacket and these boots. Now, well, she wasn't in boots. She was just in a suit jacket and looked like some loafers. Now, I'm going to just say this, okay? There's a reoccurring theme in this. And you may say, oh, it's biblical, it's Christian. No, it's suit jackets, okay? That's the reoccurring theme. Spoiler alert. I don't know what it is about this girl in this suit jacket. But I digress. Let me keep on. So it's a girl there, other woman there. She's Hispanic. I don't know her name, La Cienega, whatever, Selena. She goes and she's like, "You ain't cut out for this work." And so she's like, "No, I am cut out for it," in so many words, because she just hops in the back of the truck and goes to the vineyard. They're like getting, freelance workers to just come and glean this vineyard, right? So she hop in there. She goes to the vineyard. She picking grapes or whatever. In comes Boaz, and that's played by Tyler Lepley. So you got Soraya playing Ruth, Tyler Lepley playing Boaz, right? He come in here with a cowboy hat, the tattoos showing, okay? Belt buckle just buckled up, just gleaming, okay? Looking real good. Now, he inherited the vineyard because his father died, and he notices Ruth. His partner, I guess in the vineyard or whatever, or head manager was like, "Yeah, she skipped lunch and she did this, that, and the third, and she's just a hard worker." Mind you, it's only the first day. Like, how can you tell all that? But it's a movie. I digress. So Boaz goes and introduces himself, offers her some water, asks, urges her to take a break, and she's like, "No, I got bills to pay." And she doesn't really know or hasn't like peeped like this is actually his vineyard, girl. I feared that would have worked on me. Or maybe I'm just a hoe, because that would have worked on me. You offering me a nice old beverage while I'm working all hard. And also, girl, why you ain't in all black? Ain't you mourning your man? This is wrong with these young girls today. You supposed to be wearing all black from head to toe. You got on these shoulder pads, suit jacket, and some jeans. And a shake and go wig. The shake and go wig, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, why are we, it's giving me something, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's giving me something. I don't know. So anyway, Naomi is at the house, and she's looking through her thing. She finds a big old shotgun. She's in these boho knotless braids, and please take them out of Felicia Rashad's head. I don't want to see Claire Huxtable like this. I don't want to see Claire Huxtable hair all swiveled up like that, and some boneless braids. I don't want to see that. Bring back the coif or whatever she had in the Cosby Show. That's how I want to see Claire Huxtable. I don't care if she playing another role. So then there's this pastor that comes. He got some type of jerry curl. He came uninvited, and she hid it from him. And I would have done the same thing, because ain't nobody called and said nothing about stopping by. You ain't set no appointment with me. Sorry, this wine is kicking in. It's about to go real left real quick. And now we getting into the meat and potatoes of a little bit more with Boaz. So his daddy died from cancer. That's how he inherited the vineyard. Ruth is after work, soaking her hands after picking up grapes and, trimming the leaves and all that stuff. Naomi had cooked her dinner. She takes one bite of it. Was like, "Oh, this is really good." Girl, you ain't got to do too much. Like, it's one bite. I'm sure it was fine. Maybe Naomi could burn. I don't know. So anyway, the window she had put up earlier, I forgot to mention, this window was all shot out or whatever. Didn't have no glass in it. So she put like this tarp up and used some boob tape or double-sided tape to keep it up. The wind blew it down, so Ruth is up there just trying to put the whole thing up, and Naomi is cackling because she like, baby, this house is falling off the bone. It's slow roasting, slow cooking, Instapot falling off the bone, and you up here trying to fix it with some titty tape. But, you know, she trying her best, Lord, and that's really all we can do in life. So then the next scene is Ruth is back working and she's humming, and one of the other workers, not her Hispanic homegirl, La Cienega, one of the other workers was like, oh, I know you from that group 4-4. And Ruth is like, I left that group, like, I don't want to talk about it. So then Boaz offers her a permanent position. You know, I know exactly what type of permanent position that is too. I too have gotten a few offers. Netflix, I'm ready to tell my story if you ready. Okay. Then we get into Paul Wall Street, Paul Walmart. His name is Cyrus. I keep calling him. He looks like Paul Wall to me though. But not quite as good. You know, I love me some Paul Wall. So anyway, La Cienega, her Hispanic homegirl, and Ruth go to like this karaoke bar in Nashville. So I'm guessing this place, I don't know if it's a fictional place or not, but they're close to Nashville, right? In Tennessee. So she goes to this karaoke bar, and Boaz and his homeboy is in the bar too. And so her homegirl, La Cienega, signs her up to sing at the karaoke part without her knowing. It was like a surprise. She called her name out and all that stuff. Or she had her name called out. So Soraya, aka Ruth, gets up there. Her voice is giving me Keke Palmer with a little bit of Whitney Houston. That's what it is. That's what it is. This shake and go wig. Hold on, let me move myself to the side. Right here. This shake and go wig. And I'm going to pull up another picture. Hold on. It's this shake and go wig that is giving me Whitney Houston. It's giving me Auntie Nippy. It's giving me Wave Nouveau. Y'all remember Wave Nouveau back in the days? Y'all aunties and mamas and stuff. Okay, so after she's done, you know, tearing the house down, she's singing or whatever, Tootsie roll it down to the bar. Shout out to Funky Dineva. She goes to the bar, orders her a drink, and then Boaz comes up, you know, oh, let me get two or whatever and give the lady whatever she wants. And so the bartender was like, sure, Mr. Azra, or something like that. I think his last name was Azra. And she was like, oh, your family owns the winery. And he was like, I own it. Now, I'm going to just say this. This is why they had to have this story in Tennessee. Because you can't tell no Chicago woman something like that and think that that's going to be I'm going to play hard to get. Okay, bet. And you want me in a permanent position? Baby, the Jerry curl ain't the only thing juicy. This wet and wavy ain't got nothing on Big Mama. Anyway, I digress. It's the wine, y'all. I'm sorry. So her friend posted the video of her singing on YouTube. It's like, oh, you got like 80,000 views. Again, it's the wig. It's the wig. Ruth styling in this. I know this is a Christian movie, okay? And my heathen self, here I am with my, you know, issues. But it's the shake and go Jerry curl wig for me. Like, girl. And she always got a jacket on. Now, I done been to Tennessee, okay? I frequent Tennessee. One of my best friends live in Tennessee. Shout out to Crystal. In Tennessee, you can attest that even on this coldest day, baby, it is hot as all hello outside. And she just got on a trench coat, a tweeted jacket, something that's going to cover them shoulders, child. And I'm just over it. I'm like, girl, ain't you hot? Ain't you a little warm at the very least? And it's still giving me Whitney. Whatever you want from me, I'm giving you everything. I'm your baby tonight. It's giving me all of that. And here's the little Tootsie Roll gem. Babyface, Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, is in this movie. I haven't gotten to his part yet. And he wrote that song for Whitney Houston, I'm Your Baby Tonight. And Soraya up here looking like Nippy because she got her shoulders covered and she wearing that shake and go wig. And this ain't no Whitney Houston slander, so don't come for me. I love me some Nippy. I love Auntie. Make she rest in peace. But it's giving that. This tweed, and then you got some jeans on. It's giving very much that. All you need is just that one earring in your ear, just dangling. It gives. Anyway, let me just move on. Okay, so then we get into, I forgot to mention that Ruth had told La Cienega to take that video down. Then we get into this church scene where the members and Boaz show up to Naomi's house, Naomi and Ruth's house. And that baby, they got paint, they got tools, they got all the things, okay? Boaz up on the roof tempting the young virgins down below. He got his shirt off, nipples at, just showing them tattoos, showing that there is a God. Because that man, Tyler Lepley, and no disrespect, because I know he engaged to Miracle Watts. They got a whole family. Very nice. Very. So one of the ladies of the church was like, "Ooh, there is a God or something." She said, "Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus." Something very churchy. He comes down and they're talking, and Ruth gives him like a little glass of tea, and he was like, "Oh, so I'm glad I'm getting, this is really good for somebody who hates me." And Ruth was like, "I don't hate you." See, I'm telling you, you gotta play. That's why I gotta have more decorum, play more hard to get. Cause I'll be like, maybe I see you working hard, well, let you know I'm proud, let you know that I admire what you do. Cause that would have been me. It would have been a whole, let me cater to you. That's my problem. I gotta have more decorum, like in the Bible, like Ruth did. So then they get to the meat and potatoes. Ruth and Boaz go on a long walk a la Jill Scott, okay? Come on. Because I sure would have been going on a nice old nasty long walk with him. So she was like, why aren't you married? And that part, Ruth, because let's get to the point. Okay, why ain't you married? Why ain't nobody claimed you yet? And so he was like, I've been married to the vineyard. And it kind of parallels with the Bible because he had, wealth but responsibilities. His work was basically keeping him from marriage. And he was like, oh, everybody asked me that. He just was busy. That's all. And, it parallels with Ruth being noticed because of her hard work and all that stuff. They trying to keep it real Christian. It's me that's going to keep it nasty for y'all, though. So you're welcome. So Ruth is confiding into Boaz, like, I didn't graduate high school, never been outside of Atlanta, other than being here in Tennessee. Ain't got no money. Ain't got no fancy car. It's giving very 5 heartbeats. Cause I got nothing but coochie for you, baby. I got nothing but coochie for you. So much coochie. Cause that's all I would have had to offer too. We ain't finna have no what you bring to the table conversation. Okay? Nothing. I got lip gloss. I got this shake and go wig. And I got this jacket, suit jacket, and a diamond encrusted 24 karat coochie. That's all I got for you. I ain't got no more. That's it. So then, in the midst of them talking, they hear this scream by Naomi, aka Claire Huxtable. So they run back to the house, and she like, "Oh my God!" Because Boaz done bought them a Saturn or whatever car Moesha Daddy was selling. And she was like, "Oh, it's better than catching the bus or hitchhiking." And he was like, "Yeah, we can't have Miss Naomi or you, like, footing it to get to church and all that." Real Christian, real generous. And again, I don't like these, boneless, boho, knotless braids on Claire Huxtable. I don't want to see. If anything, I would have rather have seen Claire Huxtable in the Wet and Wavy. Y'all should have put these boho knots on Ruth. Y'all should have gave it to Ruth. Like, I know y'all trying to make her seem real Christian, real, morally inclined. But the way that y'all, and go look at the movie, okay? I encourage you to do so. Because it's a good movie, okay? So far, I've enjoyed it. And everybody seems to be in a blazer of some sort also. And everybody seems to be, like, cool. Slightly anemic in this hot tail state. Tennessee is hot. I've been to Tennessee quite a few times, okay? Almost lived there. It is hot. On the coldest day, it's hot. It's all hot. I don't know why. But anyway, now, hold on. Let's get to the good part. Now, Boaz takes Ruth on a surprise, right? They go to meet Babyface. This is where Kenny Babyface Evans come into play. Now, Babyface also has on a blazer. And it's giving snakeskin. It's all snakeskin. That same snake that the anaconda was chasing, Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez in that movie in. So they do a cameo. They sitting at the piano in Nashville singing a song together. And he like, "Ooh, you can really sing. You can really blow." And so she's like singing a real old, nice gospel medley, real Christian, real nice. And so they start working together. You know what I'm saying? And I think what got me, let me back up a bit, is when Boaz was giving the car gift and all that stuff, he was talking about some, I'm just God's middleman. Now, you knew what you was doing when you said that. That was the old nasty church line. That was game wrapped up in scripture, and I liked it. Okay? I personally liked it. And And it just comes full circle. You know, you got the Whitney Houston wig, and you got Babyface himself at the piano. What more could you want? So, in the midst of all this, let me just also add, Boaz talks about how in 2017 it was his last bottle that he worked with his father on. It's a reserve, and he wants to like sell it. He wants it to be like, you know, put into the magazines. He wants it to win whatever wine prize it is. I don't know. I'm not a wine connoisseur. I drinks it, but I'm not a sommelier. So in the midst of this, he's sending the wine off to be judged, or he's getting in preparation to send this 2017 wine to be judged. So Ruth is using that voice for worship now. You know, everything seems to be hunky dory, peachy keen jelly bean. So they're talking, Boaz and Ruth, after she's done singing with Babyface and whatnot, and she's like, "Oh, you felt it too. It just feels right." She feels so inspired to sing for the Lord, you know. And Boaz is like, "I love seeing the side of you." And she said, "I got a lot of sides to me." Now, listen, this is a Christian movie. I get it. But you got to be mindful of your audience. We ain't all, you know, as Christian as we should be. But if it were me, I'd have a scene or two to express that side as well. Because I too have a song on my heart, Boaz, if you really want to listen to what I got to say. I need a roughneck ninja who can satisfy me just for me. Oh, but honestly, it's the gospel music that's really nice in this movie. I really do enjoy it. And we get more into them continuing to, like, you know, court and all that stuff. Babyface and her are still writing songs. They got Boaz and Ruth laying on this blanket talking. And see, that's the type of pillow talk I like. You know, he goes deeper into like his family and why he does the things he does. See, that's the stuff I want to hear about. Okay, get in depth with me. Pillow talk with me. Tell me why your daddy threw the microwave and the refrigerator at your uncle during Thanksgiving, and how the door arm hit you in the head and you had to go to the hospital about it, and they almost took you away because it was child endangerment. I want to know that type of tea. Talk to me about that while I scratch your scalp. That's intimacy, honey. Now, I must say, okay, let's take a moment to appreciate that. Yes, I don't care for the shake and go wig, and no, I won't let it rest, okay? And yes, I don't care for the boneless boho knots that Claire Huxtable got in. But if we being for real, I am not mad at the I'm not mad at it. Now, we all know that sometimes Tyler Perry be playing with us with the wigs. But I think that he, you know, because obviously other people are involved, I feel like it definitely shows, like, the quality has went up. I want to show my appreciation because I'm not mad. I'm really not mad. If anything, I'm nitpicking, but I'm not too mad at the decorations, the design, the costumes, and in whole. Okay. So then, you know, he asked her on an official date. So Naomi is helping her get ready for this date. She gives her this old cute little dress. First of all, it's got to be super awkward to be getting dressed or being helped by the man's mama who you was dating. That ain't even your mama-in-law for real. But, you know, for the sake of the movie, couldn't be me. But, you know, for the sake of the movie. So she gets dressed. Body is body, and she still got on this wig. I don't too much care for it, but she looks so good and she's so pretty that it doesn't matter. So she meets him at his house, and it's this beautiful, sprawled out house, honey. Just open floor plans and windows and all that. Just the candle lights is lit, okay? And he's like, you know, whoever I choose, who chooses me, they're gonna get this house too. And he was like, I want you to crush with me. And she's like, what does that mean? Honey, crush what? Now, from where I come from, it's different, but he was like, I want you to crush these grapes with me or whatever. You know, because it's a vineyard wine grape theme, so they got to keep it on theme. So, baby, he takes her heels off and washes her feet just like Jesus did, okay? Because he a Christian man. And see, he ain't go up and try to, you know, oh, I'm going to wash you from your ankles to your coochie. Like, he ain't trying to get too frisky. He kept it very much at the ankle bone to the bottom of the foot. It's a message in that. I hope you caught that. He ain't go too far. He said what he was going to do, and he kept it at that, okay? Consent is important. So they up here crushing these grapes, you know, in this little tub crushing the grapes. Makes me think of I Love Lucy, whatever. And so they start kissing. That's the aphrodisiac to me. That's the aphrodisiac to me. I feel like you taking off my heels and washing my feet, like the good Lord said to do, and I'm up here crushing these grapes with you. Okay. This is giving wholesome. That's what I'm coming to the conclusion. It's giving wholesome. That's why she has to have the wig. Cause baby, I would have came in a 26-inch all black middle part bust down. Okay, baby, he would have known it meant business. And the lace would have been melted down for your pulling pleasure. And that's why I'm not casted in these types of movies, because I don't know how to act. So then get into this. Paul Walmart shows up with his bodyguard at the bar that Ruth and La Cienega, her Hispanic homegirl, is at. This is the next scene. And they just missed each other. So Paul Wall goes up to the bartender, shows a picture, and was like, have you seen her? Bartender telling all her tea, like, yeah, she be in here, she be in here with this dude over here. He owns the winery. Why are you telling all of that? You know, just running your doggone mouth. So Boaz is in there with his like manager slash homeboy and his wife. So he goes up to them. Paul Wall is like, have you seen Ruth? I'm looking for her. And Boaz is like, well, who are you? And he was like, oh, I'm trying to give her a record deal, da 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 da. And he was like, I ain't seen her in a while. And so Paul Walmart left. And so Boaz is on alert, like, nah, don't, something about that don't seem right. The pastor calls Ruth. Oh, that's why they left. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little. So they were in the bar, Ruth and La Cienega, but they left right when Paul Wall was like walking in. They just missed each other because the pastor called Ruth and was like, Naomi got sick or whatever, and she's in the hospital, you know, come quick. So then Ruth gets to the hospital. Naomi is fine, baby. Her blood pressure was high. It was probably the chitlin deep fried, you know, pork steaks and rice, or hog maw casserole, or pig feet and dumplings, or whatever she was cooking. Raised up her blood pressure, child. So they have a nice little moment, and, you know, have another tender mother-daughter moment. So then it's the next scene, which is like, oh, the festival of the town or whatever. And La Cienega is like, you got to come to the festival, Ruth. Like, everybody's going to be there. So Ruth goes to the festival. She sings her song about falling in love with the man of God, and then also God himself. And it brings tears to Boaz's eyes and all that stuff. I was like, oh, don't cry, boo. I got an encore for you after this song. But she also sees Paul Wall Street in the crowd. And so she pauses for a minute, and then she sings even harder because she's, you know, got conviction, and she got the blessing of the Lord. And so he leaves. Or so we thought, honey, because after a while, after she got done singing her little two-step song for the Lord, the barn is on fire. The vineyard, whatever part they were storing the wine, is on fire. Mind you, again, I told you, he's trying to get his wine set up and set out to win an award or whatever. Become like, you know, acclaimed for the country or whatever. So he thinks that he's finished, you know, everything is all burnt down and Boaz is in peril. And so Paul Wall Street sends Ruth a text like, you need to come back to the house. So she's like, I gotta leave, I gotta go. Mind you, she still ain't tell this man what's really going on. So Boaz put 2 and 2 together, put 10 on 20, talks to one of the officers that's at the site, was like, you need to follow me because something going down, okay? Follow me, stat. So Ruth goes to the house. Paul Wall Street and his henchman is at the crib. They're trying to kidnap Ruth, and child, in the midst of it, Naomi is trying to help, and they done knocked down Claire Huxtable, baby. She done fell to the ground, real nasty fall. You know, at that age, a hip fracture is dang near impossible to avoid. So I'm in my feels, because why did you knock down Claire Huxtable like that? Boaz is out there, and he's fighting the Paul Wall dude. And they tussling, and then the big dude gets in the middle, and they tussling, and then you hear a bang, you know, and it was Claire Huxtable came with the blicky, okay, the country blicky. Remember I told you she pulled out that shotgun earlier, dusted it off. She came out with the blicky and was like, get away from my daughter and her new man or whatever, and I won't miss next time. So then the police came, arrested Paul Wall Street, and, you know, that was that. Okay, so they go back to the vineyard and trying to recover, I guess, whatever was burned down. And so Ruth is like, let's just open one of the bottles and try it, right? She opens the bottle. She was like, I don't know a lot about wine, but this is delicious. And so his like ranch partner, homeboy or whatever, tries it. And they're both like, man, Boaz, you got to try this. This thing fire. So Boaz tries it. He was like, oh my God, it's better than before. Like the fire must have added a little, cayenne pepper to it. I don't know, whatever. So they end up, fast forward, they win the wine competition or whatever. Boaz was like, will you be my partner forever? And Ruth was like, bet. And so they get married in the vineyard. It's real beautiful. And it was like, love never fails. And that was the end of the story. Now, on a scale of 0 to 10 grapes, I get it's 9 grapes. I know I said my little tee hee hee about the shake and go wigs and everybody wearing a blazer. I'm surprised she ain't get married in that blazer. And she did change the wig up at the wedding. I guess it makes sense because now I can give you your just desserts because you done married me now, honey. You done see me at my worst, honey. You finna see me at my best and my baddest. But it was a good movie. Okay, Devon Franklin, Tyler Perry, the writers of this movie. Look, shout out to them because no shade, but all shade. I knew that this was not a solo act by Tyler Perry. Okay, it was directed by Alana Brown. She did a wonderful job. Michael Elliott and Corey Tenen were the screenplay writers. And again, I told you it was produced by Devon Franklin, Tyler Perry, Bart Lipton, Tony Strickland, Kwame Wade, and Angie Bones. Cinematographer Michael Nigrin, all the people. Y'all can go look it up on Google if you want to know the stats. But I was pleasantly surprised and I was pleased with the casting. The acting was good. Okay, it was believable. The script was good. It was a solid screenplay. It was a solid screenplay, and I would say I would like to see more of this. Devon Franklin, if this is your lane, this is definitely a good lane for you. I know he's done other works. I just haven't seen him, so I'm not gonna. But this, I was very pleased. Very pleased. Would definitely recommend. Like I said, 9 out of 10. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this recap. If you want me to recap more movies, let me know in the comment section. I'll also do a shorter version in case you ain't got a whole lot of time to get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm doing here. And that'll be posted. But I enjoyed this and hope you did too. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and comment for more content. And as always, I'm Hershey Sunday and I'm back with the scoop. Peace.